Hey everyone, welcome back to the Chicken Support Insights. It's Cortney from Valley Hatchery Customer Support, and today we're doing something a little different. This episode is not like any other episode because we're not covering the typical education podcast, but rather I'm going to talk to our most, I'd say, requested customer service representative, someone that's been here the longest and really knows what she's doing. So I'm here with Connie, who honestly might be the most requested person on our support team by name. And we're talking about what years of customer calls have taught her, what new flock owners are really looking for, and some of the conversations that stick with you long after calls end. All right, Connie, thanks for being here.
Hey, Courtney, thanks for having me. This should be fun.
Yes, can't wait to learn some stuff about what the last, I think you said 4 or 5 years have brought to you. So what do first-time callers almost always have in common? What do you hear all the time from our first-time callers?
Well, most of the times they're nervous. They're very nervous. They're not calling because they're unprepared. They're calling because it's their first time with mail order chicks. And they're very nervous. They usually say that they get them locally, but the breeds they want this year that the locals don't have. So they're calling for the first time wanting mail orders. They're nervous and want reassurance. So what we do is walk them through. I always show people the brooder setup, which is on our website under the More drop down for your information. And so then we go through there, the heating, what they need, the heat lamp, everything like that. And then walk them through the understanding of the timing with the USPS, and it calms their nerves.
Yes, for sure. So I'm glad that you can walk them through the first steps and kind of what's coming next and explaining just what's needed to have a successful brooder and experience. So thank you, Connie. I have definitely listened to your calls and I learn something new every time. So why do customers ask you for you by name? What do you think that is? What do you think brings them back?
Well, I honestly, customers want just somebody that cares. The empathy, the caring people that want a commitment to a hatchery. I had a call yesterday and he said, "Is this a human?" And he was so excited because we're one of the only hatcheries here that answers the phone. And then it's the way you take the order, small talk, then explaining step by step that they'll receive emails, that they'll receive an email when the order is placed, then an email when the chicks for tracking. I just follow through, send them tracking information, then call them when I know the chicks have arrived. It's just caring and support that people ask for you over and over again.
Great. Thank you, Connie. And what is the most common question in May or June that you almost never get in February?
So I think a lot of people, when they're placing an order in February, March, they're prepared for spring shipments. They know what they want, the breeds, everything like that. And then when May or June comes, people are calling wanting to know when we have them available, because now they're thinking about the summer heat. Then if we don't have them available for then, now if they're in a colder climate for winter, they're panicking that they're not going to be old enough to go out to the coop once the cold starts.
Yes. Thank you so much for that, Connie. And those are great tips for everybody. Tell me about a call that you still think about, something that stuck with you after the phone call.
So I've had a customer for 4 or 5 years that he has started pullets from us, which are 3.5 to 4 months old. And he did that for the first 2 or 3 years. So then he decided that he was going to go with the babies. And he got his babies and he kept calling me saying that they weren't making it. So he was so confused and distraught that he was doing something wrong. So I went through everything with him, the heat, the brooder, everything, to find out he was using a heat plate, which we do not recommend. Babies need the heat lamp.
And after probably so many times of using that plate with good experience, he just was so confused and of why it wasn't working this time. So I'm glad that with your experience, you realized, or our documentation, those plates just don't work in the first week.
Correct. So he had 6 little babies. He was down to 3 when we noticed. And so he ran and got a heat lamp and put it in, and the 3 remaining babies strived after he got that heat lamp. But he was not used to, he was just getting started pullets and putting them right to the coop.
Having them baby chicks, sent through the mail was a totally different experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then he called me and said, send me 3 more of those babies. I've got it now. I've got it down pat.
I've got this down. We can do this. He's got the 6 that he needed.
Right.
So when someone calls nervous like that, what relaxes them in the first 2 minutes?
So usually, just when somebody is really nervous, I just try to calm them. Most people call when they've placed an order, their shipping date has arrived, and now it's been a day, 2 days, and they're panic stricken. Where are my babies? Where are my babies? So it's just reassurance, telling them that there is food and gel water packs in the box with them, explaining USPS and how their system works, that the poor babies don't get scanned at every juncture, and explaining that to them, that they'll arrive safe and sound. But most people, are just so nervous to get waiting on those babies.
Yes, that helps them reassure that they're coming and they'll be safe. So what do customers think they're calling about versus what they actually need during the phone conversation? What I'm trying to say is what they are calling about sometimes versus what they actually need on the phone call. So maybe they're just calling to ask about breeds. It's their first time, but then they end up realizing that they need knowledge about space or kind of just the whole process of it. So
yeah, a lot of times people question, they sound so technical, but all they're asking for is reassurance. So, they're questioning the breeds they picked. Are they friendly? Are they good with kids? All kinds of emotional support. And they're just seem to be just overthinking. So I always just reassure them to be prepared, study your care and instructions, have the brooder set up, warm, ready to go. And when your chicks arrive, they will be fine and strive as long as you're prepared.
Perfect. So how did you get your job here at Valley Hatchery originally? How did you end up here?
Well, honestly, I had pretty much retired and was just enjoying life. And my son and his partner are the owners here and wanted to see if I would like a part time job. And when I started, I was a nervous wreck, didn't know much about chickens. And then it grew on me. I just love the atmosphere, the people I work with, and then making people happy that they get their baby chicks and they strive and are, a long and happy process.
That's awesome. We're so happy to have you here. What do you think's kept you here over the years since you were in retirement? What's keeping you going, Connie?
So, like I said, it's the customers, the people I work with, the owners. It's just, we're one big happy family here. And just knowing that customers, you look forward to calling Valley Hatchery, that all of us here are happy
I
to
can tell
help.
you that our most upset customers is the day that Connie takes off. And then they get us and they say, I want to talk to Connie. And we have to tell them, she's not here today, so I can help you if you'd like. And they usually let us, and that's awesome. But some of them don't. They say, okay, well, when's she going to be back? I'll call her tomorrow. I want to talk to Connie. We
Right?
appreciate that, Connie. And I think what brings our customers back is just your personality. Like you said, your tone and your ability to reach out and care for our customers. You're always following up. That's a wonderful, wonderful skill. And you care and you can tell. And it comes through your voice and your phone calls. So if you could send every first time buyer a voice memo before they ordered, what would it say?
So the first thing is our chicks coming through the mail are a lot different from your local pickups. Look through our care guide and instructions. Make sure your brooder is prepared. Let your post office know so they have a safe place to put them. I used to work for USPS also. So make sure that your post office knows you've got baby chicks upon arrival. And slow down and just remember, nobody starts as an expert. Follow the guide and your chicks will strive.
Perfect, Connie. Thank you. We appreciate that message. And hopefully, this gives listeners a little perspective on what really happens behind the scenes of customer support and what so many flock owners actually have in common. And honestly, if you're nervous about starting, that's probably more normal than you think. And we thank you for listening. And thanks, Connie, for joining us. You have been great.
Thank you, Cortney, for having me, and hope all of our customers take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Connie. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye for now.